Martin, here we are at the marvellous Center Parcs, Sherwood Forest in Nottingham. Tell us a bit about the exciting plans for Center Parcs in Longford.
Yeah, I mean, Longford obviously is something that we announced a couple of years ago, and for our business it's our first international expansion, and for Ireland, of course, we're going to bring a very high quality holiday park to the very Midlands of Ireland, so I think it's extremely exciting. In terms of what does Center Parcs actually offer, we've chosen Longford. We've got a 400-acre woodland located near Ballymahon, and within that woodland we'll be creating a fantastic Center Parcs resort. So we'll have over 500 lodges, a magnificent indoor water park, lots of restaurants and cafes and bars, as well as retail shops, and then over 150 leisure activities as well. So it's a fantastic place for families to come and have a really fantastic short break holiday.
It sounds really wonderful. Why Longford? Why did you choose the Midlands of Ireland?
Yeah, I mean, of course, a project of this magnitude, one does your research, and a number of years ago when we were coming over to Ireland and looking at various sites and thinking about strategically where should we locate ourselves, we actually see the whole of Ireland as the kind of audience, the market, if you like.
The island of Ireland.
The island of Ireland is the market for Center Parcs in Ireland. So being strategically located right in the centre seemed to us to be the obvious place to kind of look. And of course this site, which was owned by Quelsha, next to Ballymahon, Newcastle Wood, was the perfect location. And as I say to many people, if you stick a pin in the centre of Ireland, there's a very good chance you're going to stick it right in our site, because we are absolutely in the middle of Ireland. So strategically, that was the reason why we chose Longford.
And the purchase of the site, or the arrangement with Quilcha, obviously a forested area, and being at one with nature is critical to the whole Center Parcs concept.
Absolutely, yes. I mean, as you've seen, from your visit here today in Sherwood, the woodland, the forest, the natural environment is a big part of what we have to offer. And certainly the woodland in next to Ballymahon there in Longford is a perfect forest for Center Parcs. It's got a good mix of trees, both coniferous and also the native hardy types as well. So it's an ideal forest for us to create our holiday park. And the relationship with Quilcha has been extremely good. They've been extremely supportive, and that's obviously helped as well. Yeah.
And how big will the resort be in terms of how many lodges? What will the capacity be?
Yeah, the actual scale of the site itself is over 400 acres, so it's exactly the same size as our locations in the UK. However, in terms of the number of lodges, it's only 500. I say only, that's still a hell of a lot of lodges, but compared to some of our UK sites where we have over 850 lodges, it's a bit smaller. And that's simply just a question of doing the calculations around occupancy and market penetration. And we think a 500 lodge park in Ireland is the perfect and optimum size for us to deliver the best outcome.
And is it a seasonal product? I mean, we were talking off camera there, and you were kind of saying that it's not occupancy levels are high year round, but things like weather and stuff, how does that impact on the business?
Yeah, Center Parcs is not a seasonal business. We're open 364 days a year, and certainly in the UK we enjoy over 96% occupancy all year round.
Which is remarkable.
Which is, it's remarkable. It's unrivaled in the sector as well. We're just extremely popular because what we're providing is a place for families to come at any time of the year and have those special times together, which is so important, particularly to busy working families these days. So we fully expect Ireland will be a slightly slower build-up to that level of occupancy, as of course brand awareness initially will be much lower than it is in the UK. But within the first 2 or 3 years, we do expect to get our occupancy levels up to the similar level to what we enjoy in the UK.
Excellent. And the opening date, I understand, is summer 2019 in and around, but there's a significant amount of investment going in on behalf of Center Parcs into the Longford project. Can you talk to us a bit about the sort of monetary investment you're making in the concept?
Yeah, I mean, this is a significant project for Ireland, clearly, and from a Center Parcs perspective, we'll be investing over 230 million euros in creating the park. We've been on site since May of this year. Initially with the infrastructure project part of the old development. After Christmas in the new year we'll start with the lodge building programmes and also the central building programmes. So we're on track to be open in the summer of 2019, which is now of course less than 2 years away.
Absolutely.
So, and it's just going to go like that, it will evaporate. So.
And 1,000 permanent jobs. I mean, it's wonderful for the Longford region and for the Midlands of Ireland that an enterprise of any sector, but particularly tourism, is actually going to be employing 1,000 permanent jobs.
Yeah, I mean, through the construction phase, there'll be over 750 construction workers, and then when we're fully open and we're trading in 2 years' time, it will be over 1,000 permanent positions, which, for the Longford and Longford County and the Midlands region, that's a really important number of jobs that are going to be created. So the impact on the local economy will be transformational. It won't just be the jobs, of course, it will be the knock-on effect of all those people working, spilling out into the community. We'll be using lots of local businesses as well for goods and services. So we will have a massive effect on the area, absolutely.
Yeah, which is absolutely brilliant. What's the support been like from, if you like, Ireland Inc? I saw Taoiseach Leo Varadkar turn the first sod there recently. But in terms of your relations with Coillte that you mentioned, with Fáilte Ireland, with Tourism Ireland, how has that been for you?
It's been very good. We have been and felt very welcomed in Ireland. We've made relationships at all levels within government, and that's been excellent. We've had lots of support, lots of advice, and as you say, the Taoiseach came over and did a sod turning ceremony with us just a few months ago. I think at a local level we've seen the most support. So Longford Council, for example, have been absolutely excellent, and as you mentioned, our relationship with Coillte as well has been superb, and we still talk to those guys even now during the development of the actual scheme itself. But I think what's really important to us is the local community.
Yes.
And we've established a very good relationship with the local community. We've been talking to them right from the word go. We now hold quarterly community forums where we get them all together, we brief them on the project, what's happening, what are the next stages, what's the next steps, and that I think works really well. And we must remember we're going to be long-term neighbours of that community. Yeah. This is not just a very short-lived thing. This is going to be a who knows, 40, 50, 60 years hopefully of Center Parcs being involved.
And in terms of the long-term community, that's where a lot of your employees are naturally going to come from.
Indeed they will. I mean, the analysis of the UK looks at the jobs, and we see something like 40% of our workers are actually under the age of 24 years old, and 75% of them live in the local area. So I mean, it's going to be massive for the local area in terms of young people, providing employment, and the thing about Center Parcs is it's not just the job. We provide training and development as well, and give people career opportunities. Excellent. So it's going to be so good for the area.
Yeah. And the market for Center Parcs in Longford, it'll obviously be quite a strong domestic market, but do you also see visitors from the UK travelling to Longford to enjoy the facilities?
Yeah, I mean, the primary audience, the primary market for Center Parcs Longford will be the whole of Ireland, so both the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland as well. But having said that, there will also be a significant proportion of guests who come over from the UK. And actually, to facilitate that, we've been talking with ferry companies and airlines as well to be able to package up some deals there to get people across. So we do believe that it will be mainly Ireland, mainly domestic, but there will be UK people coming across as well. And that could be something where they're not just coming and staying at Center Parcs, they'll do some other things in Ireland as well, which I think would be great.
Absolutely. So for example, a British family coming over by car on ferry could spend 7 or 8 days in Ireland touring around, and 3 or 4 of those days could be
absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly what we'd imagine. Yeah.
Brexit, no tourism conversation, no conversation full stop goes by without the dreaded B word. You made the decision about Longford and about Ireland and about the expansion before the Brexit vote.
Yep.
The Brexit vote happened June 2016. The UK is due to leave the EU, I think it's March 2019 when Center Parcs is due to open. What's your view of that? Has that impacted, has that coloured your view? Do you think it'll affect business in any way?
Not really. This is a long-term investment. This is £230 million of investment in a Center Parcs holiday resort in Ireland that's going to be there for 40, 50, 60 years. So it's a long-term return, it's a long-term game that we're playing here. So the kind of the vagaries of Brexit currently are not something that we're particularly concerned about. In terms of construction costs, we hedged our euros a long time ago, so it's not really affecting the cost of the development itself. And quite honestly, we know it's going to be a success. We know there's going to be huge demand for our product in Ireland from domestic customers, from families in Ireland. So we don't think that Brexit is an issue, to be honest.
Great. Martin, thank you so much for your time, and the best of luck with Center Parcs in Longford. We're really excited by the project, and it's a great vote of confidence in Irish tourism.
Thank you very much.